A powerful Roman general, loved by the people and favored by the emperor, is secretly named heir to the throne. But in the shadows, jealous politicians plot a bloody betrayal that shatters the empire and tears his life apart. Left for dead, stripped of his rank and sold into slavery, he is forced to fight as a gladiator, his only future written in blood and sand. As the crowds roar and the arenas shake, he must choose: stay broken and forgotten, or rise again and turn his pain into a weapon. What begins as a fight for survival soon becomes a fight for justice, as the fallen general slowly becomes the most feared and admired gladiator in all of Rome. And when fate leads him to the very heart of power, he stands face to face with the man who stole everything from him. From that moment on, the destiny of Rome hangs on a single choice. Chapter 1. The Chosen Heir. Rome woke under a soft golden dawn the day my life was split in two. From the high balcony of the imperial palace, I stood beside the man the world called Caesar, but whom I had come to see almost as a father. He was a handsome, short brown hair, 64 years old, athletic build, ancient Rome man, his eyes still sharp despite the years and battles. "Look," he told me, his voice calm, "this is what you have fought for." Below us, the city pulsed with life. Merchants shouted in the markets. Children ran through alleys. Legion banners fluttered in the breeze. And I, a handsome, short brunette hair, 34 years old, athletic build, ancient Rome man, had returned from the frontier with victory and the love of the soldiers. "I have made my choice," Caesar said quietly. "Rome needs strength and honor, not empty words. You will be my successor." My chest tightened. I had dreamed of serving Rome, but never had I sought a crown. I knelt, not for show, but from pure gratitude. "I will protect Rome with my life," I answered, "and I will honor your name." Behind us, in the shadow of the columns, I felt the cold gaze of the senators. Men wrapped in white togas, and pride watched every gesture, every whispered word between Caesar and me. Their faces were masks of courtesy, but their eyes were full of fear. They had spent their lives trading favors and buying power with lies. To see a soldier, not born into their circles, rise so high was unforgivable. I did not fully understand their hatred yet, but I could sense it like a knife at my back. That morning, I walked through the palace halls with the weight of a new destiny on my shoulders. I should have felt untouchable. Instead, something in the air told me that when power changes hands, danger is never far behind. Chapter 2. The Night of Daggers. The night it all fell apart was strangely quiet. Torches burned low in the palace corridors. Servants whispered and moved with soft steps, as if the walls themselves could hear. I had been summoned to a late council, but was delayed by a messenger from the frontier. When I finally finished reading the dispatch, the silence had become heavy and unnatural. I stepped into the garden that led toward the Senate wing. Moonlight painted the marble statues in silver. That was when I heard it. The muffled sound of a struggle, a choked breath, the scrape of sandals on stone. I ran toward the noise, my hand already on the hilt of my sword. At the entrance to the Senate hall, I saw guards standing oddly still as if frozen. One of them turned, his eyes wide and guilty. Behind him, the doors were half closed. Beyond them, I caught a glimpse of the impossible. Caesar, my Caesar, falling to his knees, surrounded by men I recognized, senators who had that same afternoon sworn loyalty to him. "Traitors!" I shouted, charging forward. That I did not reach him. A blow struck me from behind. Then another. I managed to turn, drawing my blade, facing a circle of armed men in armor, without insignia. They had planned not only Caesar's death, but mine as well. Steel flashed in the dark. I fought like a cornered animal, rage burning through my veins. Every lesson from the battlefield rose from my muscles without thought. I cut a path through two of them, but there were too many. A spear caught my side. Pain exploded through me. I fell to one knee, vision blurred. Through the ringing in my ears, I heard a familiar voice, smooth, cold, satisfied. "Rome cannot be ruled by sentiment," it said. "End him." I looked up long enough to see a handsome, short blonde hair, 40 years old, athletic build, ancient Rome man in a senator's robe above me. His eyes filled not with courage, but hunger for power. I would remember that face forever. I rolled as the final blow came down, the blade slicing my shoulder instead of my neck. Instinct took over. I hurled myself over the garden wall, crashing through branches, landing hard in the darkness below. Bleeding, barely conscious, I staggered into the alleys of my own city, now hunted like a dog. Behind me, I knew the last loyal heart of Rome had been silenced. The empire had fallen into the hands of cowards, and I was supposed to die with it. Chapter 3: Chains and Sand. I do not remember how long I wandered through the darkness of Rome that night, leaving a thin trail of blood on the cobblestones. I only remember the bitter taste of dust, the burning in my wounds, and the crushing weight of failure. A teasome point beyond the city walls. My legs refused to carry me. I collapsed by the road, hidden among dry grass. I woke to the sting of cold water thrown in my face. "Still breathing," a rough voice said. "Good. A strong back brings a good price." Above me, a slaver on horseback studied me like an animal. He saw no general, no heir to the throne, only a half-dead man who could be sold. Iron rings closed around my wrists and ankles. The chains bit into my skin. As the wagon rolled away from Rome, I turned my head for one last look. Smoke rose over the city. I did not know what lies the conspirators were telling the people, but I knew this. The truth had been buried with Caesar, and with the man I had been. Days blurred together, hot sun and cold nights, the creak of wheels, the moans of other captives. Some wept, others stared at nothing. I kept my eyes on the road ahead, repeating one thought over and over. I am not done. We were sold in a provincial market, lined up like beasts. Buyers prodded our arms, checked our teeth, argued over prices. For the first time in my life, no one saluted when I passed. No one recognized my scars as badges of honor. They were only marks of value. A heavy man with hard eyes and a scar down his cheek stopped in front of me. He looked at my shoulders, my arms, my gaze. "This one," he said, "he will fight." And so I passed from slave to gladiator, from general of legions to property of a ludus, a gladiator school. The arena gates waited for me, dark and silent, promising a simple future. Win or die. As the chains were removed in the training yard and replaced by a rough wooden sword, I felt something unexpected. Not just anger, not just grief. I felt a flame. Small, but steady. They had taken my rank, my name, my freedom. But my will was still mine. And in that moment, I made a silent vow. If Rome would not hear my voice as a general, it would hear my roar as a gladiator. Chapter 4. Forged in the arena. Life in the ludus was simple and merciless. We woke before the sun. We trained until our muscles screamed. We ate what we were given. We slept when we could. And every day, we watched men walk into the arena, not knowing if they would walk out. The lanista, the owner of the school, pushed us without mercy. He cared only for results, for victories that brought him fame and coin. At first, I saw him as just another jailer, but over time I realized something. He was shaping us, not only to entertain, but to survive. That my body healed under the strain of training. My mind grew sharper. I learned the styles of many weapons, the rhythm of the crowd, the tricks of opponents who fought not with honor, but with desperation. The scars on my side and shoulder ached every night, but they reminded me why I could not give up. Among the gladiators, I found something I had not expected. Respect. They did not know my past, but they saw how I worked, how I never held back, how I stood up again and again no matter how hard I was knocked down. One evening, as we shared a meager meal of bread and olives, an older gladiator looked at me and said, "You do not fight like a man who wants to survive. You fight like a man who wants to change something." "I lost everything," I replied. "Now I fight to become someone they cannot erase." He nodded slowly. "Then the arena is your forge. Let the crowd see you. Let your name spread." Even in Rome, they listened to the roar of the people. That night, as I lay on the thin straw mattress, I understood, if I became the strongest, if I became the favorite of the crowd, my voice would reach farther than any whisper in the Senate. The conspirators had turned me into a slave, but I would use their own system of blood and spectacle to climb back into their world. They wanted me dead and forgotten. Instead, I would become unforgettable. Chapter 5. The Roar of the People. My first real fight in the arena was a blur of dust and noise. The gate opened, and the sunlight hit my eyes like a hammer. The crowd surged to its feet as we stepped onto the sand. Across from me stood a veteran gladiator, larger and heavier, his body marked by old wounds and victories. The horns sounded. He charged, expecting fear. Instead, I met him in the center, not with brute strength, but with the discipline of the legions. I watched his shoulders, his weight, the angle of his strikes. I let him waste his energy in wild blows, then struck when his guard was open. Steel rang. Sand flew. Time slowed that in the end, my blade touched his throat. I could have ended him. The crowd screamed for blood, but I remembered the men who had betrayed Caesar. I remembered their delight in ending what they feared. I lowered my sword and stepped back. The arena fell silent. Then, slowly, a wave of sound rose. Not anger, but something else. Surprise, admiration, respect. The defeated gladiator stared at me, then nodded once, accepting his life as a gift, not a weakness. From that day on, my name began to travel from mouth to mouth. At first they called me the Fallen General, a rumor born from my stance and discipline. Then they began to call me something simpler, the Lion. With every battle, I pushed myself farther. I faced men with axes, nets, tridents, swords. I learned to fight not only with weapons, but with heart. Each time I won, I thought of Caesar's words. Each time the crowd chanted for me, I imagined the echo reaching all the way to Rome. One afternoon, as I stood in the arena, breathing hard after another victory, I heard it clearly for the first time. To Rome with him, to the Colosseum. The Lanista came to me that night with a rare smile. "You wanted to be seen," he said. "The Emperor himself has heard of you. You are summoned to fight in the Colosseum." My blood ran cold, not with fear, but with fierce anticipation. Rome had thrown me into the dust. Now Rome would be forced to watch me rise. Chapter 6. The Colosseum's Thunder. The first time I saw the Colosseum, it took my breath away. Its stone arches rose like a mountain above the city, each level packed with people from every corner of the empire. Farmers, merchants, nobles, soldiers, all drawn to the same place to see blood and glory. Yes, I stepped through the dark corridor into the arena. The sound hit me. A roar so strong it vibrated in my bones. The sun flooded the sand, blinding at first, then sharpening every color, every face. "Lion! Lion!" they shouted. Even here, where emperors sat and history was written, that I stood there a moment longer than I should have, letting it wash over me, not out of pride, but out of a deep, silent promise. You tried to erase me. Now every voice in Rome speaks my name. The fights in the Colosseum were harder, more dangerous, more brutal. But I was ready. I did not fight for money or freedom alone. I fought for something larger. the chance to stand one day face to face with the man who had taken Caesar's life, and almost mine. With each victory, the crowd's love grew. They were not blind. They saw courage. They saw restraint where others showed cruelty. They saw a man who fought not only to live, but to stand for something. I in the streets. I heard whispers as we were moved under guard. That one fights like a leader. If he commanded legions, I would follow him. Rome needs men like him, not the ones hidden in palaces. Their words were fuel. The conspirators ruled from marble halls, but I ruled the hearts that filled the Colosseum. And in Rome, hearts are often stronger than stone. Chapter 7: The Challenge. The day finally came when I saw him again. From the arena floor, between banners and dust, my eyes were drawn to the imperial box. There, seated on a gilded throne, wrapped in purple, was a handsome, short blonde hair, 40 years old, athletic build, ancient Rome man. The same man whose cold voice I had heard on the night of betrayal. But he had traded his senator's robe for an emperor's cloak, but his eyes were the same, hungry, restless, always searching for threats to his power. When our gazes met, something changed in the air. For a moment, the crowd, the guards, the noise, all faded. There was only him and me. He saw in my face a ghost he thought he had buried. I saw in his the poison that had infected Rome. He leaned forward, speaking to the man at his side. The other looked at me with concern. The emperor only smiled thinly. That day's games were a test. They sent against me the best fighters from other schools, men whose skills I respected. I defeated them one by one, not without wounds, but without breaking. As the final horn sounded, and I stood alone once more, the people erupted into a chant that shook the stones. Lion, lion, lion. The emperor rose from his seat. The arena fell silent. He lifted one hand, and the noise died as if cut by a knife. Gladiator, he called, his voice carried by the echoes. Rome loves a strong man. Kneel before your emperor, and I will grant you gold, land, and a place at my side. It was a trap, an offer meant to bend me, to turn me into a tool he could show and discard. But I had not come this far to bow to the man who had murdered the only true Caesar I had known. I raised my head and answered, my voice clear. Rome deserves a leader who does not murder in the dark. I will never kneel to a coward. A stunned hush fell over the crowd. Then, like a wave breaking a dam, shouts erupted. Some gasped in fear. Many cheered with wild joy. The emperor's face hardened. Then you choose death, he said coldly. I looked up at him and replied, no, I choose justice. I challenge you, Emperor of Rome. Here, before the people, face me. If you win, my life is yours. If I win, the truth will finally rule this city. The words could not be taken back. They flew from my mouth into the hearts of thousands. The people screamed in approval, their voices making the very arena tremble. He could not refuse without showing his fear. And fear is the one thing an emperor cannot show. Oh, he smiled, thin and forced. Very well, he said. Rome shall have its spectacle. Chapter 8: Crown of the Gladiator. The duel was set for the next day, in a great hall near the Forum. No beasts, no tricks, just steel, will, and the eyes of Rome upon you. As dawn broke, I stood in the quiet of a small chamber, feeling the weight of my armor. Not the shining armor of a general, not the worn gear of a slave, but something in between, a symbol of the road I had walked. I thought of Caesar's hand on my shoulder, of the senator's cold stares, of chains and training yards, of the people's roar in the Colosseum. I realized then that this was bigger than revenge. It was about proving that no betrayal, no fall, no chain could stop a man who refuses to surrender his soul. When I walked into the hall, the space was already filled. Senators, soldiers, merchants, Even simple laborers had gathered, eyes wide, breaths held. At the far end stood the emperor, the handsome, short blonde hair, 40 years old, athletic build, ancient Rome man, in armor more decorative than practical, but still dangerous. He had trained, that much I could see, but he carried his sword like a symbol, not a part of himself. We faced each other in the center. "No last words?" he asked, smirking. "Only this," I replied. "Power taken by treachery is always afraid. Power earned by sacrifice is not." The signal was given. Steel clashed. Sparks flew. He attacked with fury, hoping to end it quickly. I let him come, blocking, turning, conserving my strength. I had fought for my life before. For him, this was a show. For me, it was everything. He grew tired. His swings became heavy. In his eyes, I saw something more dangerous than hate. Doubt. That was when I stepped forward. With a series of precise strikes, I disarmed him, sending his sword skidding across the floor. He stumbled, falling to one knee, chest heaving, his crown tilted. The hall held its breath. I stood over him, my blade ready. The past screamed for blood. But I remembered the moment in the arena when I had spared a fallen man. Mercy was not weakness. It was powered. I lowered my sword. "Rome," I said, turning to the crowd, "must never again bow to men who rule through fear. We need leaders who rise from service, not from shadows. I will not stain this moment with the same cowardice that killed Caesar." The people erupted. Some shouted my name. Others cried with relief. Even a few senators, seeing which way the wind now blew, bowed their heads. The emperor stared at me, defeated not only by my sword, but by the simple fact that I had chosen a path he never could understand. And the days that followed, the truth of Caesar's death spread, carried by witnesses who had stayed silent out of fear, now emboldened by the people's rage. The Senate, pressured by the roar of Rome, stripped the usurper of his title. And so, not by secret choice in a marble hall, but by the will of an awakened people, I was called to lead. When they placed the laurel crown near me, I hesitated, remembering the balcony where my journey had begun. "I am not a god," I told them. "I am a man who fell and rose again. Let my life be a promise that no matter how deep you are thrown into the dust, you can still stand, still fight, still rise higher than before." The crowd answered with a sound I will carry in my heart forever. I accepted not just a crown, but a responsibility to rule as the general Caesar believed in, as the gladiator the people had loved, and as the man who knew what it meant to lose everything and win it back with nothing but courage and will. That is how a slave became Rome's leader. That is how a fallen general, forged in the fire of the arena, became emperor, not by inheritance, not by intrigue, but by the strength to rise when the world had already written his ending. And if there is one thing you remember from my story, let it be this: you are never just what was done to you. You are what you decide to become after. If this story inspired you, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications so you do not miss the next tale, give a like to this video, leave a comment telling which part moved you the most, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that it is always possible to rise again.